I think I'm streaming. I think I am. I think it's gonna work. You just see a black screen here. I'll explain that in a minute. There's a reason for it being just a simple black screen. Before I had a bunch of artwork there. Just let me bring one thing up on my side over here. Then I'm going to switch to the big stupid head view. There it is. There's my big stupid head. So yeah, I've been on vacation. I've been on vacation for 8 days. I've been off in Hawaii, Oahu, Waikiki, and I did continue to work on the God Killer, but I didn't stream. I did not stream because it's a pain to do it from a hotel room. I only have one monitor, which is my laptop monitor, and I have to put all the streaming stuff and the work stuff on the same screen. It's terrible. I've done it before, and then plus the bandwidth a lot of times isn't reliable from hotel rooms, so I just didn't want to fuck with it. But anyways, some people may not know who I am or what I do, so I'll tell you. I'm Eric. I'm making a game. It's called The God Killer. It is a 3D top-down puzzle adventure game, and it's like you're in an afterlife of sorts. You have this character who knows nothing about this new world she's gone into, a little bit along the lines of, say, Alice in Wonderland, in the strangeness of it all and her perspective of it. And she quickly sets about unintentionally pissing off a lot of people and creating conflict for herself. So like a Alice in Wonderland, Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm type of a thing in the afterlife. Okay, so there's a few things going weird with my setup here. You might have noticed that black screen earlier. And when I switch over to the work screen, there's going to be some missing images. This is due to a profound and devastating failure of Dropbox to provide services to me in a reliable way. So I have given a lot of thought to my backup strategy. I've got like a regular kind of cartridge backup that I make about once a year, where I just take all my project data and stick it onto like an archive cartridge. I make a second copy of that. I just sort of stow those off the side and treat that as read-only data to come back to if I need to. Put a neat little label on it. It says 2019 archive on it, and then 2019 archive B, which is like an extra copy of the same data in case the first one fails. And in addition to that, I've got Dropbox, and I paid a little bit extra for the business package or whatever, so I have lots of space there. And it has been, up until 2 days ago, synchronizing my data very well. And I figured, like, even if it stopped synchronizing my data, I would get a pretty good warning that something was up, and I would say, oh, your Dropbox isn't working, so I got to figure out something else to do. But in the meanwhile, it should be copying my data to its servers, and it should be copying my data across multiple devices that I own. So it's sort of like I should have everything covered, every single thing covered. I've got like my own personal physical copy, my archive that I make every once in a while, and I've got an offsite backup on Dropbox's servers, and I've got multiple devices backing everything up. And I almost didn't have enough to cover a complete fucking disaster because of this genius move Dropbox did, where they decided that they didn't like a certain attribute of a folder that I was using, and they announced that it would be deprecated, the way that I was using the folder. It's called a symlink, which is a way where you say that a folder is going to link to a different location. And it was a good practical solution for me to use this symlink feature. So they announced, I guess towards the beginning of the year, that they were not going to support it anymore. Okay? They didn't send me like an email that said, hey, Eric, you need to worry about this particular thing that's coming. No, I think they just like put it on a blog post or something. They didn't tell me. They didn't tell me. Okay, but what they did do is delete all of my data files off my local drive. A half year of constant work vanished from my local drive. Okay, now it was on their server. They made like a backup of that. I'll even show it to you. I'm sorry, I gotta get this little rant off my chest. It'll just make me feel better. So let me show you what they did for me, what these wonderful geniuses did for me. So they took all my files and they put them in this directory called Symlink Backup Copy. And I appreciate that to some extent, because they knew they were going to fuck my life up a little bit, and they said, let's be slightly careful. Let's create a copy of it. And I go here and I look, and here they are. Here's all of my precious files. And like I said, I took a snapshot of all this stuff and put it on my own personal storage beginning of the year. But I didn't have like that half a year or so of constant work in progress. That was in this directory here, Godkiller. And I went to this download option. I said, you know what? I can just download this file, that all this precious info. I can just download it right to my computer and I'll be good. So I clicked download, and here's what I saw. Zip download fail. I thought, well, maybe that's just a fluke. Let's try some other folders. Let's try like a smaller one. This one has got like blood pressure monitoring and stuff like that. Information about my health that I refer back to. So let's download that. Oh, that one works. That one's fine. Okay. So anything above a certain size just fails. So after a little bit of futzing around, I figured out that I can copy this oh so precious half year of work directory to another location inside of Dropbox, and then it would sync, and all that data came down. Now I was in Hawaii, and it was like a ransomware situation. So all of my data, I could see it here, but I couldn't see it anyplace else. I thought it might be on my local hard drive at home, or it might only be here. I contacted Dropbox support, and there were two very nice ladies that helped me, Audrey and Lori, but they were not equipped to go deep enough into the problem to recommend a solution, so they forwarded me on to like a tier 2 support or something along those lines. And I was so freaked out. Man, I was freaked out by this. So anyways, this isn't the most interesting story, and I am going on a little bit too long about it. But the shortened version of the story is I got all my data back. It's all back. It's not all in the right locations that I had before. I'm also forced to solve a problem with moving data around between different hard drives that is making it so that I can't do a lot of ambitious work with media right now on my computer. I won't be able to do that until a new computer that I've ordered arrives. It's got a larger hard drive capacity. So that symbolic link thing that I told you about, that was my workaround to use an external drive on the MacBook that would also sync up to Dropbox. But since that doesn't work with Dropbox anymore, as they very abruptly explained to me, they didn't explain it to me, they explained it to me by deleting all my data. I need to have a different storage option on my computer. And I am also looking at alternatives to Dropbox to use, since they kind of did a C- job of handling this whole thing. So anyways, let's get back to the game. I did make constant progress on it. I did also do something which I thought was kind of cool. I made the remaining facial expressions for M. So if I go to, let me just show the level. That'll be more fun. Okay, so I finished the first level. It had Chelsea Blackwell's awesome vocals in it. Now I'm only recording vocals in places where I need to prove the audio, that it will achieve a certain effect. So the first level is populated with placeholder audio from Chelsea's recording environment, which is not a studio recording environment, but it was good enough. So she found a quiet area of her home or something to record. It was good enough for me to receive that audio, put it in the game, and check that certain things I was trying to do were working. So I'm not going to continue using that approach for all these levels. They'll just be subtitles unless I am in an area where I want to test out some specific tricky to accomplish things with voiceover audio. And once I have all the script recorded, then I will record Chelsea and other actors inside of a professional studio. And that will be the final audio that goes into the game. So we're not going to hear audio on everything as we go through this level creation process. So I'd finished the first level, and it was a very story-driven level. And I kind of know that when you're playing a game, there tends to be a lot of load on story and explaining things at the beginning, and I so often just want to break from it. So I made the second level as a straightforward challenge for the player to get through. There's a tiny little bit of story with M musing to herself a little bit as she goes through the level, but this is basically just a simple challenge for the player to solve. They need to figure out how to navigate through this 3D world a little bit. So for those who aren't familiar with the game, the commands that are available to the player are movement up, I won't say up, down, left, right, because we're in a three-dimensional world, north, south, west, east, okay? And there's flinging. Flinging, you hold down the shift key, and these little seek rays go out showing which ways you can fling, and you push the direction you want to go, and you're just all the way there, right away. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, you know? It's a powerful thing you can do. And there are like some ways that you can push things around, but on this level, you can't fight anybody. This is just a straightforward moving through the level thing. So there's no place to go but up. Climbing up the steps, you can kind of move along. Now Em's going to talk about her thoughts about killing Billy accidentally. So you get to this ledge and you realize you can't continue walking. You got to do something else. So fling. Okay, moves over to the other side of the room. Keep going up, keep going up. A couple different options here. You could go off over this way. Okay. There's this room over here I can't really get to because it's raised up. It's got a different light. Maybe something's going on there, right? So I keep going up. Looks like I come to a dead end. Maybe I should fling. No, it takes me down somewhere else. Yo, it takes me back where I already was. But that's not a useful place to fling. I'm kind of saying things, pretending like I'm thinking through the level for the first time. Of course, I understand the level, but I'm trying to simulate like a player's perspective. So, flinging from there doesn't help much. Let's try the other route that was available. So I fling over here. It looks like I'm on a path to keep going up. Okay, I'm getting over by the red area, but I can't go over to it apparently. I can drop down, but that just puts me back where I was. I still can't seem to get in this red door, which appears to be the place to get to. I know this is no good. So I'm thinking like, okay, if I've got to get into this area, it's gonna need a fling. And just by looking at the direction the door is facing, it'll need to be a fling from the other side of the room. So I can sort of deduce what will need to happen for me to arrive inside this other room. So I'm gonna go check out the other side of the room to see, like, is there anything that would launch me off into that area. That vantage point is not really visible to me, because when I walk down here the camera comes down low. There's also a little camera glitch where it goes super close in, which I have to fix at some point. But even if the camera was sort of at its proper place like this, I still can't quite see that place where I would be in position to fling into this red doorway. So now I'm just thinking, like, where haven't I been in this level? And I can see this area off to the right. Okay, I haven't gone up these steps, I know that. So how do I get to those? Maybe that's where I want to go. Okay, it seems like I could fling to the east to get over there. I can't. Going up the steps, going up the steps. Now I'm thinking about my options. I could go left, but that goes where I've already been. I could go north. I could go west. Goes where I've already been. I could go north. That's just going back. Flinging. This might be the vantage point to fling through that doorway. Let me try it. It is. And that's a completed level. I'm not going to go up the ascension point here because I want to show a few more things. So I'm trying to make this level easy, but I wanted to make it so that you couldn't just like fumble your way through it. So one thing that's sort of possible, one type of gameplay that a lot of people will do is just sort of holding down shift and just kind of seeing where you get to. You can explore a lot really quickly that way. But I intentionally made it so that if you just try to kind of brute force your way through, you won't get to the solution. Because the point where you need to fling from here it needs to be specifically chosen. You need to have a little bit of logic to it. You need to deduce. You need to plan out things. Try to map out the level just a little bit. Just this one point here. You have to kind of figure out where could I need to be and how could I get there. And that's what this level is about. It's the only place in the level where I ask somebody to think like that. But it's important to kind of break that cycle of just mashing the keys to get places. I need to, as gently as I can, get people into thinking, this is a game where I'm going to have to slow down and consider. Because the best rewards of the game are coming from when you do that. It's going to be a puzzle-solving game. It's going to be a game like, say, The Witness, or another game I made called Drod. I didn't make The Witness, just to be clear. The Witness is just a really cool game I've been enjoying recently. Portal is another kind of example. You have to think things out. You have to make a plan. You have to be logical. You have to deduce. So I'm not going to make it as tricky as I did with Drod. Drod is considered a very difficult game by many people that have tried it. Sort of like the place where puzzle solvers go when everything else is boring to them. But this one I wanted to make it a little more accessible. A lot more accessible, actually. So I'm aiming for a difficulty around the Portal level. which still has a lot of linchpins and places where you can get stuck, but if you just think through it a little bit, you try a little bit, you'll get it. So that's what I'm aiming for with difficulty. Okay, so that is level 2. I also made a level 3, and I'm going to show you level 3. Level 3 is another no story level. And I'm going to rename these levels. So I've been calling them Basement 1, Basement 2, Basement 3, but that level we just looked at I'm going to call Lower Basement, and this next one I'm going to call Middle Basement, Basement 2. This is the first time I've opened this after the crash, so I'm really hoping that it will work. Okay, I'm going to wait just a little bit to see if the good lighting kicks in. So with Unity there's a thing where whenever you make a change to a scene, it will redo all the lighting calculations, and they look a lot nicer after they're done. Right now it looks kind of bright and it looks okay, but it'll look a lot better if I just wait just a little bit. I think it should just be accessing previously generated data for the lighting, and it should drop it in pretty soon, because I did go through a full calc on this earlier. So this next level, the thing that I wanted to introduce the player to here is blocks. I wanted to just give them a little playground to mess around with blocks, and it should be like really easy to get through it. Like, it's barely a challenge. So still waiting for the lighting. I'll wait a little bit longer, and if it looks like it's got a lot to do, then I'll just play it without waiting for the lighting to finish. So let me explain the rules of blocks to you really quick. So doors that have letters on them, these are doors, these things over here, they will be open or closed depending on if there's any combination of blocks that spell out the same word or sequence of letters that's on the door. So when I hit play and start this, OUT is combined together with these blocks. That will cause this door to be closed, and there's 3 other doors here, so there's 4 doors in each direction. All 4 of them will be closed. Now all the player needs to do to open those doors is just come down and disrupt this formation. Now sometimes you want to create a combination of blocks that will close a door. There's another thing called a bridge, which is basically the same thing as a door, but it's what would you say? It's horizontal instead of vertical. It's lying flat along this ground parallel axes. So it has the same rules as doors, but it's just got a different orientation. So you can walk over a bridge if it's closed without falling through it. But if the bridge is open, then you just fall right through. So you want to arrange blocks to match whatever goals you have in a level. And this is just a really simple challenge for it. Doesn't look like I'm going to get the quick lighting on this one, so I'm going to hit play and we're going to use the garish lighting, the ugly lighting. And you'll just have to trust me that there's better visuals on this level. Okay. So now you can see that after I started the level, the doors are closed. So these blocks are here to play with. Say I push to the west. All the blocks move, and they move all the way to the end. So there's these little pads over here, which is where the blocks will go if you destroy them. You can destroy blocks by pushing them against a wall. So if I go down here, push, it goes back to the O pad. And you know, there could be more than one O pad somewhere in the level. It'll just go to the closest one. Okay. So now that I've disrupted the OUT, all 4 of these doors are open. And I can leave through them if I want. I'll show a few other things with this. So you can make the words either vertically or horizontally, but they have to be, if they're going to be horizontal or west to east, they have to start OUT, like go west to east or left to right. And if they're vertical, they have to go top to bottom. So if the order of these was reversed, if I put O underneath and T up there, then the doors are still open because the sequence of letters matters. And it's intuitive if you think about it, because I mean, you can kind of read it pretty easily when it's in this order, but not the other. Okay, so I will disrupt the out so that I can leave through these doors. I was inspired a little bit in the level design here by this guy named William Cheer, who's making a really cool looking game called Manifold Garden. And the thing that I found that I liked in his designs is just kind of a nice symmetry and sort of an extravagance of repetition. So he would do things like, and I will never get the effects that he has in his game, because he has like a kind of an infinite repeating thing going on, which is really fucking cool. But I just thought, well, I'll make stairs on all the sides and I'll make them go up 2 times. I didn't have to. Like, this whole structure here is just like a really complicated thing that is just done for visual effect. Well, I guess it's not that complicated, but I could have accomplished all the level goals without building out this little structure. But art, aesthetics, these things are to be enjoyed. Okay, so here's another thing. So you see, like, this TO off to the right, it's the bridge type of thing that I was talking about earlier. So they have the same properties as those doors, but they're just laid out flat, like a floor. Now off to the northwest, there is a bonus package. And I really think that I'm going to make it so every level has got a bonus package in it. And there'll be a more difficult solution to aspire to if you want that bonus package. And you'll just know that, like, if you've gone through a level and you haven't collected it, that it's somewhere waiting for you to get. And you can make a choice. You can just kind of go through the level really easy like, or you can try to figure out how to get that bonus package. So here you could look at it and you could say, well, I can fling west. That'll just drop me down. I'm not anywhere near the package if I do that. I could fling north, same thing. It won't get me anywhere near there. And there's no vantage point that you can see that lines up. Now the rules of flinging are, you can fling north, south, west, east, as long as certain conditions are met. There's also like a type of flinging where you go up at a slope. So I'm on the steps here. I hold down shift, and you can see the red dots to the east. They get larger. That's indicating that I'll be doing an upwards east fling if I fling that way. So there's nothing there to catch me, but I was able to fling in that direction. So it seems like maybe there's something off over here that would let me get there. I don't see anything. Again, I'm playing dumb here. I'm trying to emulate the thinking of a new player, a new to this level player. Okay, so I don't see any vantage points that would let me get to that package, but there is that TO. So the TO, I know by the rules of how they work that it could potentially be closed, and that would let me stand on it. So these other things could maybe be used. I can see that if this TO to the east was closed, I could jump onto it. And I'm going to go check out the other corners. Okay, TO to the southwest. So it's looking like there is potentially a path to get to that package. And I know, well, I'll say a player new to this level could experiment with the properties of these doors and the blocks and think, well, if OUT closes these doors, maybe TO is going to close those bridge things that are up in the corners. So I can put TO together there, but like I said before, the sequence matters. So even though it spells TO going down to up, it has to be up to down, or left or west to east. I should say north to south or west to east. Basically your standard reading order. Okay, so then I think like, okay, I have to arrange these in a way that spells TO. So one thing I like about this design here, sorry to pat myself on the back, is that unlike all these other block pushing games, you never have to worry about getting your blocks stuck against a wall. You can always just kind of push them so that they end up on one of the pads. And I'm going to design every single block puzzle so that you can't get stuck. You can always just keep playing. I don't like a restart on the level. I'm making a goal that any player could play through this game without ever having to restart a level. Okay, so I spelled TO, 2. So in order for me to see the results of my work, I have to go back out. And sure enough, the 2 bridge is closed. I can see that just with my eyes, that if I were on the 2 bridge, if I was on the top T and then I flung west, that wouldn't take me to this northwest bridge. But it seems like worth a try, so I will try it, because I do see this tower over here and that confuses me a little bit. Like maybe I'll be able to land on top of this tower. So let me at least try that. Now you can kind of see that it's possible to step down onto this tower if I want, but I'm going to try my fling first. It didn't work. It seems to me, pretending to be a new player, that I just went over the top of the tower. Okay, so I know that there are bridges in the other corners, so I'm going to try to go to those bridges. And there's my package. I took it. I earned the bonus. It definitely needs like a better effect of some sort, and some little sound effect that sounds really cool, because that was anticlimactic to just grab it and have it disappear. But logically, it's there. Okay. So that was the second level. I've got a third one. It does have more story in it, and I'm trying to I think it's very likely that it will have some bugs in it. I should save it until I've got it working, I think. What I do want to do, though, is try going back to that previous level and adding a bonus to it. Because I have this goal to have a bonus in every single level. I think it would be fun to add some extra challenge to that level for the player to get to. Before I do that, though, I'm going to run to the restroom and have a quick pee. I will be right back. Oh, and this is not true. This thing up here where it says token cheap ass progress. I'll say demoing substantial progress. All right, be right back. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the lower basement. Oh, I'm so relieved to see these levels I worked on coming up without issue. Okay, so let me think about this. It's like a big tower, this thing. Or like the inside of a tower, kind of. You keep going up. So there can be a bonus here, but I want to make it pretty easy. Let me play with it a little bit. So I'm looking for a good place to add an extra thing to do. I don't want to put anything related to blocks here, so it'll have to be like a navigational type of puzzle. So one thing is, if you're coming up here, there's a good chance that you're pretty focused on getting into that room. So if I could make something that's not obvious, that is easy to miss here in this area, then that might be the way to do it. Thinking about adding like a fling destination going up and west here. But I don't want it to look like an obvious destination. That's the thing. Because if you're over here and you come up this way, you'll see that thing, that destination over here. Is it possibly higher than the camera view? If it is, that would be really cool. That would be pretty ideal if it were. Let me see where it ends up being. I'm gonna ruin the lighting on this by adding another block to it. Let's get a great I'm trying to follow the diagonal here, so it'll be down. Huh. Might have gone too high with it, I'm not sure. Let me see what's visible. And if I got the diagonal path right. I might have gone one square too high, I'm not sure. Let's see what happens when I fling up there. But I'm curious if that is out of view. Ooh, don't see it. I think I barely see it right there, which is a nice touch. Huh. Okay, this might be good. Oh, perfecto. Okay. That's kind of the best possible thing to happen right there. But I'm not done yet though, because I don't want to put the bonus right there. It would be better to go to a different corner. I lost my good lighting. Okay, so if I go over here, I try to make it so that you don't fling right onto a bonus, because I want you to be able to see that the bonus was there. So I moved the place where you can get the bonus just over one. So I can fling here, I can fling here, and step over one to get the bonus. Let's see how well that works. And it would not be a bad thing if I could see the bonus from that other stairway that goes up higher. That would actually be kind of cool. So just barely can see something there. Then I can't. Can't see the bonus here. It might be okay. I like the idea of teasing the player a little bit with it, so they might try to find it. That's alright though. Make sure I can get to it. By the way, I'm not going to make a hit. Oh, there we go. There's the hint. There's the tease. There's something up there. You could have it. It could be for you. But how do you even get to it? So suppose somebody's kind of in a hurry. They could miss that if they're kind of carefully coming up. There's a little mystery there. Okay. If they come all the way to the top, they've missed the place that allows them to get there. Here, there. Okay, that gives them the bonus. And I was just checking that now I'm checking that the bonus, that the grades I added don't cause some other unintended solution or effect for the level. I get back up there. Okay, so I checked north on this grade. Let me look at the other. Okay, so that's good. It's just going to go against the wall there. Huh. So by accident, putting this wall here was very helpful to me. Okay. So that's cool. I think I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing that makes me kind of like, yeah, I don't know, is this good? Is someone could just sort of be here and they go fling, fling, and they go, whoa, whoa, where am I? But because this level, right before arriving here, forced the player to not brute force their way through, they had to pick a specific point on this staircase. They had to be careful to find the right one exactly. At this point, I think they're going to be cautious. I don't think they're going to go fling fling and just be up there. Because they had to figure some shit out. It put them in a different mode. So I think they're just going to walk up, see what there is. It might have been a little bit hard for them to get here in the first place. And they're going to think here, because like, if I screw this up, I'm going to have to recreate all the steps I just did to get back to the spot. So what am I doing? So I don't think they're going to just kind of rush up here. I don't think they're most of the time going to go bam, bam, and suddenly be off in this bonus area. I think it'll be more like, we come up here, wonder slightly about what's that thing up there in the corner, but then kind of return to their original goal. Getting to this exit area. They'll have discovered the exit area, and the more persistent or curious players will say, yeah, but I want to know what that bonus thing was. I want to go back to the bonus, or they won't know it's a bonus yet. Although on the starting level, there already is a secret area, and I'll add a bonus box there too. So maybe they would know what the bonus is. Okay. Pretty happy with that. Unplay. Save. Oh, I got my lighting too. Okay, let me go through it one more time with the lighting. I guess that's a little bit self-indulgent. I just like how it looks with the lighting. Yeah, it needs like a little harp sound or something. Something cheerful and slightly mysterious. Can things be cheerful and mysterious at the same time? I think they can. I think they can. Alright, so that's that one. I think I will spend a little bit more time in this session on the third level, after all. And this may be less of a demo on the third level. It may be more fixing stuff that is broken. But you will get a chance to see that if that interests you. Let's go to the, it's not the third level, I guess it's the fourth level, but it's the upper basement. Save that, open, basement 3, upper basement, I will rename it. There's another part of this that I can't demo at all, because it's pure spoiler. I think I'm okay with spoilers up until just a little bit further in the game, and then nah, I don't want to mess with it. So I'm basically going for something like the 5-minute mark. Whatever you can see in the first 5 minutes of the game, I'm willing to spoil. But there is substantial, that's my favorite word today, substantial story events, plot events that happen. So let me see how broken this level is. Also, I'll wait just a little bit for the lighting just in case it kicks in. Okay, but I'll go ahead and explain it a little bit. So in the very first level, which is called Paradise, God bullied M into being a bully. So God wanted M to push Billy. Billy is this character over here. He said, M, push Billy, you must push him, push Billy. And then M pushed him, and then God goes, push Billy against a wall, smash him against a wall, do it, push Billy. Like, he just kept on going and going. And was like, okay, sure. And Billy didn't like it. Billy said, no, don't do it. Don't, just leave me alone. I don't want to be part of this. M did it anyways. Billy exploded into particles before her eyes. M was quite upset by that. Surprised that she killed Billy. And she's learning for the first time how this universe works. That if you push somebody against a wall, they die. That's not how the old world she's from, ours, worked. But here, when you push things against a wall and they've got nowhere else to go, they just get destroyed. Now, there's another wrinkle to death and destruction in this universe that she doesn't understand yet, and Billy is going to explain it to her. She will reunite with Billy. I don't think the lighting's going to kick in. I'm just going to play with ugly lighting. I have no idea how much of my changes were successfully saved before the great Dropbox fail of 2019. So there's a good chance that some of the earlier changes that I made were lost, and I'll have to recreate them. The play on this takes a long time. I think it's because all of these spikes, all those polygons. So down beneath you see spikes, 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 just a lot of spikes. They look kind of ugly. That's alright though. Sometimes it can be ugly. Okay, so she walks out this way. Sees Billy again for the first time after she killed him. Billy, yeah. I didn't kill you. No, you definitely killed me. No, you definitely killed me. I don't understand. I'll show you. That's a terrible voice. Walk to the middle of the bridge. Okay. Okay, Billy opened up the bridge, killed her. How'd you like it? Oh, there were knives. Yeah, lots of knives. And gears and hammers and screaming. It went on forever. Yep, that's death. It's horrible, so horrible. You waited here all those hours, days? You were gone less than a second. Billy, I'm sorry. Yeah. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I'll never kill you, anyone, ever again. Snort. Snort. Derisive snort. Okay. So, this is the thing where I don't know if the dialogue is properly explained what happened. As much as I hate cutscenes, I might have to do some, like, kind of 5-second animation or something that just shows that she was gone to this other place for an amount of time and it was horrible there and there were nasty noises and knives that cut her up into different pieces in some strange way of recombining her, and like the idea that it's just this horrible, inexplicable, painful thing has to be made clear, even though you, the player, see M die and be immediately recreated, and other things she kills, they die and they're just kind of instantly respawning. That it does take its toll, or it's an extremely unpleasant thing that all the characters in the story would seek to avoid, including M. You, the player, you don't care. You'll die so many times, but okay. So Billy will open the way for her to continue. Okay. So Billy knocked the end block down to that lower level. That is kind of a permanent thing. So what that means is it will not be possible to recreate the suspension bridge, because the end is down there in an irretrievable location. That was important because there's different states in the level that you could get into where you'd be stuck, and I'm always making these levels so you can't ever be stuck and you can always just play through. So now the player for the first time can just kill M. You go back to the egg. Kill yourself again. Kill yourself as many times as you want. Okay. So actually the thing I just explained was a little bit off. It was important for not the suspension bridge to be permanently down, but for this door to be permanently open. Just in case, like, somehow the board's in a state where you can't keep continuing. Okay. So here, it's another case where you just have to rule out what's possible to do. So you can't see where you'll go if you fling to the east, but with a little bit of exploration, you see, because there's rails here, There's nothing you can do over here. Nothing you can do. Just kind of rule out all the other possibilities. There's no place you can... Okay, here are the unprotected areas here that... or the frontier, you could say. The frontier of exploration is right here. And you can see that the red squares, they go down to spikes. If you go south or east, east spikes, east spikes, you can see that little red-pink square down there. It's on spikes. So by process of elimination, you know that the only thing that isn't known at this point is flinging to these, so you might as well try it. And holding down the shift key, the fling ray goes up and holds steady, so you know it's at least possible to fling in that direction. Okay, so now there's new options. You can fling back the way you came. You can fling south. You can check out underneath. Is there any squares that you can drop to? Nope, all spikes. So you might as well fling south. The stairway looks like it could go someplace, but there's not yet a clear way to get to it. I'll fling back just to check it out. So the stairway's there, but it seems like to get to that stairway you'd have to drop down on one of the squares that doesn't have spikes on it. Okay. So then heading west, I'm again at a location where I could just end the level. I could just continue on. Pretty easy level. You can fumble your way through it. But remember the bonus rule. I'm saying every level is going to have a bonus. So if you are someone who insists on completing everything, you keep exploring. Okay, looking at the options here. Maybe I could go down here. I can't see where I'm going to land north. I just can't see it. So that's maybe a shortcoming of my camera system that I can't see where I would go. But I'll just try it. Death. Okay. So the nice thing about flinging is once you kind of remember where everything is, you can get back to where you were very quickly. Now from this angle I can kind of see that there's just spikes there, just to the north edge of that platform. So I'll be more pessimistic about dropping off this north edge, and I'll explore other areas instead. Okay. Now it seems like maybe I'm onto something. I'm closer... Well, I'm not really closer to dropping down to anything because there's just spikes. I can see the pink square around spikes, so I know that's death if I go down that way. There is a gate here, and we just went through a couple levels with gates, so a player at this point should understand some of the basics of how they work. It's got letters on it. You might have to squint a little bit, you might have to guess a little bit, but U-S-E, use, is what it says. I'll try flinging west. Okay, now I'm on Billy's platform. I had written some code that should make it so you can't push Billy. Okay. It's not quite working all the way yet. I might fix that in this session. It did turn off the little fling square. I'm sorry, the guide square that shows that you could move in that direction, but it didn't prevent M from pushing Billy. So M should be in a pacifist mode because of her insistence that she just gave that she will not kill people. So at this point, her options for violence are going to be limited. They'll open up again later. But right now, her moral stance prevents her from doing things in the game after I fix the bug, of course. Okay, so so we know that there is a gate back there that spells use, and we have all the letters here to close it. I could do stuff with the other door and the other gate and bridge, but I don't see anything useful to do with those. And I'm interested in that use gate, so I'm going to close that. And I can do that by just arranging the letters to spell use and pushing them together. So that should do it. A couple thoughts here. These, well, do that. So the way that gates and doors work is it checks for every possible thing that could be, and it updates all the gates and doors based on everything that's there. So if you find some way to arrange the letters that achieves the combination that's on the door or gate, it's just going to dutifully open or close that gate. That's just all it does. There's no magic about the placement of the blocks relative to the doors and gates. The doors and gates aren't tied to specific blocks like some kind of key or something like that. It's just this sort of physical property of the universe that's going to scan through all the different combinations of blocks and see which ones open or close doors. And the nice thing about this is the elegance of writing door puzzles. I can always make different types of logic without saying, you know, this switch over here is going to open this door or gate, this pressure plate that you stand on is going to open a certain date. No, because there's a total decoupling of the blocks from specific doors and gates. So it makes me really happy, maybe too happy. So I'm going to go back. After so much blather, I'm going to go back. Okay, so then I might think, why don't I fling myself south against this now closed door? That should maybe make me drop down onto that blank spot that's underneath. So let me try that. It didn't work. It did not work. So the thing about bonuses is they're supposed to be a little bit hard. They're supposed to be kind of challenging. This one I added a little bit of extra challenge to it because it'll make some people happy. So if I look at this, maybe I've played the game enough to count squares a little bit or kind of reckon where I'm going to land a little bit. It's a lot to ask a player, I know, but you can kind of see that bouncing on this side of, or hitting this side of the door is going to drop you down in the spikes, and the blank spot is actually behind the door. So if I just go to the south platform and come back in the opposite direction, then I land on the blank unspiked spot, and I live to explore. Now I'm on the lower level with all the spikes. As long as I don't walk onto a spike, I won't die. I get to go up these giant steps, 16 squares high, and walk along the perimeter here, and I can see like a larger cityscape type of a thing off to the east. Tried to make, a little visual treat there, a little extra thing for the player to enjoy when they come up here. And there it is. There's the bonus. I say that, and I fully realize that, this is not like AAA standard eye candy. But one thing William Cheer taught me is that there's a lot of beauty in geometry with simple designs. If you just kind of wallow in the geometry a bit. And that is one of the things I'm going to be trying to achieve with level design. Okay, so I found the bonus, and a nice thing happened here. I got the very last state of this level before it failed on me, before the great Dropbox fail of 2019. So this is exactly where I left off from in Hawaii. I did not lose any work at all. I did get a little bit stressed out. I did get a lot stressed out, like comparable to like I don't know, getting like a bad diagnosis from a doctor and worrying about your health. That's kind of what it felt like. Like I might lose something very important to me. That's what it felt like. It's like a physical reaction to that. Physical. I'm not going to forget that. I'm not going to forget that, Dropbox, what you put me through. I'm not going to forget that. You did not handle that well. You didn't. It wasn't a complete piece of assholery, and I'll say why it wasn't. This one part that makes me say you're not complete dicks, because you gave me that one backup directory. I already showed it at the beginning. It's not that interesting. You gave me that one backup directory that I could partially, barely access. And it was enough, after I screwed around on my own with it for some time, to find not like a little bonus area of the level called Dropbox.com, where I was able to get the little bonus gift of my own data that I spent a half year working on. If I would just solve a little puzzle on your own website about how to download my own data from it. So thanks for at least backing up the data on your website before you deleted it from mine, which is the kind of courtesy a responsible ransomware author provides, where they actually make a copy that you could buy back from them before they delete it off of your hard drive or encrypt it. Yeah, no, I do say Dropbox is not a ransomware operation, because they did not charge me money to recover my data anymore beyond the normal monthly fee that I was paying them. They did make a pretty nice attempt in support to listen to me, to understand my problem. I do not fault support. Audrey and Lori, you did quite well. I understand the limitations of being like tier 1 support, and your tier 1 support help was pretty skillful and helpful. And I'm guessing that the tier 2 support, which might involve going out to some developers or like a support team that has developers on it, they might be overwhelmed at this point, because there was a recent Dropbox action of migrating people off of these symlinks. So the fault lies, to my reckoning, not in the support effort. It falls in the actions taken for the migration and taking care of your users for that migration. You could have notified me personally. There's different ways the Dropbox app could display warnings about an action before taking it. You could have made the recovery options for the backup bug-free. You could have done better there. You could have done a lot better, and I went through a lot of stress based on your poor planning as a company. And I'm not really faulting individuals. I know what it's like to be on a team where you kind of get thrown into a fucked up situation, but there is somebody somewhere, a product manager, a director who didn't put sufficient funds into looking after existing customers for the migration effort. Somebody screwed up. I'm sure in my own work I'll screw up like that once or twice, but these are the kinds of things that make me say I should look at other options. I should try other options besides Dropbox. And that's my rant about Dropbox that nobody asked for, but I just had to give it to you anyways. Alright, I think this is a good time to stop the stream. After successfully demoing 3 levels, there is another effort that is invisible to you, that will be invisible to you, the viewer, which is a grand outline of the entire God Killer story, where I'm mapping out all the story to the different levels that will be created. And I will be creating more levels, some of them with a huge amount of story in them, and I'm going to put a cutoff on all the story stuff around the 5-minute mark, so there's probably going to be a little bit more. I want to get maybe to the all blocks level, where some of the listeners contributed their singing to, and I want them to be able to see what that's like. And then shortly after that, I'm going to cut off all the story stuff, but will be continuing in earnest as a wonderful mission of mine. I will be generating lots and lots of story stuff, playing out dialogue, working with Chelsea more to handle some of these trickier dialogue problems and do it in a good, satisfying way inside of the game. I'll be contacting some other actors from my past that I have thoroughly enjoyed working with, that I can already hear their voices inside certain characters. We have new characters that are coming into the game. Billy is going to flesh out. He's going to be a great protagonist. There's going to be all kinds of new characters coming into the game. Lots of new levels. It's well on its way. It's shaping up, and I'm excited about it. So if you join me on this video, thanks for coming along. Also, if you want to be there for live sessions, I always like people in live sessions. I'm going to try to hit those times that are on my schedule that you can see different parts of this video, but also you can see them on the Twitch channel. I've got a little thing that says what my schedule is. It's basically a pretty simple schedule, but I won't go into it right now. Alright, taking off, stopping the stream, stopping the stream, stopping it, stopping the stream, stopping the stream, stopping it now.